Welcome to Quantum Health Lab podcast, where we dive deep into navigating quantum realities related to the multidimensional human existence, all the way from the unseen to the tangible manifest reality. We are exploring all topics quantum, including quantum health and biohacking, manifestation mastery, the origin of the human species, and how to become a fully conscious creator of your reality here and now. So let's dive in. Very welcome today to our quantum chat, where I have a very, very dear friend of mine. Actually, we call each other already family. Today, joining us for this quantum chat. And in this chat, we are going today dive deep into navigating quantum realities. And Becca is one of the souls on this planet Earth that I met. She's really, really proficient in navigating quantum realities. And I'm so excited that I have her today on this chat and that she's going to share her wisdom and also some of the tools she's using to navigate quantum realities. So if I may just in a few words introduce Becca. So Becca is an Ascension guide. She's Evolutionary Galactic Astrologer, and she's specialized in trauma release and also blueprint repatterning and self-empowerment. Throughout soul coaching, then quantum healing, hypnosis techniques, and human design, and also quantum astrology, you are guiding people through their own blueprints, or through their own owner's manual, to get back the memories and also to get back and activate all that there's hidden in that, right? And honestly, in this introduction, there's so much wisdom packed in these few words that I'm just completely mind blown. And I would just like to ask you, Becca, first, welcome you to this chat.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I can feel the energy of the conversation already.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy to have you here. And then my first question to you would be, how did you come to all of that? I mean, this is such a wealth of knowledge, wisdom, experience. And once when someone comes in touch with you and also starts to work with you, one can feel that there's so much wisdom embodied in this body of Becca today. So I'm really curious how this path started to unfold for you here on Earth, but please take us also off Earth, because I know that this is your specialty, right?
Oh, I would be honored to. It's quite a packed question. My entire path has been my mission, if you want to look at it that way. In human design, I'm what is considered Align 6. So within that, there is an embracing that I've been able to do with that path, which means that your life's purpose really kind of gets unfolded as you live out your entire life. So in truth, as I look back, it's truly all of my journey, all of my questions, all of my experiences that I went through that continuously kept driving me to seek the wisdom, seek the answers. To what I like to say is that a lot of times we have kind of that itch in our heart or our soul that keeps feeling as though there's something else that we're seeking within ourselves. Like the answer hasn't quite been answered by whatever the paradigm of this reality is that we live in. There are many light workers and starseeds that might go to their job, might interact with their family, and at a particular level, something feels like something's missing, like there should be something a little bit deeper, or that there is more to life. And within this, as we start to follow these kind of impulses within, that's how we start to find these answers. Because in truth, we do come equipped with, gifts such as our divine blueprint, such as that we are all here with a spiritual team that is available to us, our guides, our Akashic records, our memories, our library that's right inside of our body. And once we start to learn that code and how to communicate with it, we really start to find the way to unlock it and be able to decipher it. It really is, in a lot of ways, just like learning how to speak another language. So, in short, my journey really just started through quite young, questioning a lot of the things that I was told just didn't feel quite correct. But around the age of 18, my soul really created a major shock or shift in my life, and I found myself packing a suitcase, one-way ticket to the Hawaiian Islands, and that was my soul's way for me to get me completely away from absolutely everything else, and really spent years being guided and taught by the waves of the ocean, by the memories within even the energy of Lemuria within the land, the dragons there. And so much of that journey was just supported through being led to individual after individual who began to confirm a lot of the questions and a lot of my perception to the other subtle realms. I'd never had anybody be able to really explain to me what I was seeing, what I was perceiving through my abduction experiences, through my dream experiences, through being able to see spirits and those that have transitioned in the energy of the land. I had not had anybody in my life to really explain it, because growing up, most of the explanation was, oh, either you're making up things, oh, it's just your imagination, oh, you're just, crazy or weird. And also, most explanations would just go to some religious explanation, such as, oh, well, there's only angels and demons, and God.
Yeah.
And if you align yourself to God, then everything is fine. And I was like, well, and who is God? It's just the questions really. Let's just say I was probably considered a little bit difficult because of a lot of the questions, but that's what led me. And I was led to individual after individual in my life that allowed me to begin to validate what I was experiencing, to give permission to put more credence and more importance on the feelings, the expressions that the body was speaking to me with, because again, our body is our library. And if we don't learn to have permission to listen to it, to hear it, to let it speak to us, we're going to miss pretty much everything that we have access to.
Yes, I would thank you very much for this introduction. Actually, there are so many gems in there, so I would really just go one by one and in asking you, first of all, what I find so valuable that you just vocalized is that many of us start out as there are new things coming into our reality, like memories or even pains we can't explain, or fears that we really don't know where it's coming from, or sometimes even dreams that are so real that we don't even know if did I live that, or is it really a dream, right? And there is no way, or at least we thought before that there are no ways to validate all of these experiences. But once we start to meet other people, for example, like you, for myself, when I started to work with you, you have validated so many things for myself, all the memories I had, all the downloads that are coming through, which are really, this is quantum wisdom, this is quantum technologies that are being downloaded through us. And it's so nice to have the opportunity to meet someone who is able to validate that. But this person must be a few steps ahead of you, and also know how it's been done and how to access all of this knowledge, as you so beautifully said, through the body and through our blueprints. So, and I would love to ask you now, because you said you are also Ascension guide, what exactly means Ascension to you? I know there are so many different, I would say even different definitions of Ascension. I'm really interested in the experience of Ascension, right? I really am here for grounding, not technologies, but really wisdom that can help us ground into this reality, but we already are on a higher expansive level. So Ascension, what would you tell about that? And how you are guiding people to this, right?
Oh, absolutely. Ascension, I agree. It's a very broad or vague word, in the different ways that many different people utilize it. From my perception and how I kind of feel the energy working with it is that as an ascension guide, what I find myself being is really a bridge builder, a bridge between different realities and a bridge between consciousness spectrums. And that for me, ascension really implies at what level are we holding awareness to what is going on? At what level are we starting to hold responsibility, sovereignty, and maturity within all of the systems of our body? How we are managing, being the observer, the mindful being of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are moving through us. And ascension to me really starts to mean in a lot of ways that we are elevating ourselves from a higher perspective into observing how we are interacting within this reality. And are we acting from very instinctual, primal, reactive based ways in which we don't even realize why something upsets us, or why we get angry about something, or why we jump or feel fear if we hear a noise or something like this? And a lot of times, the majority of humanity, we will find that we'll just go along with things. We don't question things. We don't question, like, why did that bother you? Why did that offend you? Why did that, trigger you in some way, shape, or form? And many times our natural reaction, because it's the program of the body, the base instinctual programs of the body, is to quickly try to cover up, remove, or move away anything that feels uncomfortable for us in our life. So most of the times, we will find, if we're not on a path of seeking to begin to understand things, that our true kind of gauge is going to be towards being comfortable, just getting by, and this is almost kind of the thing we can see with humanity, is that in order to get to a place of change, many times, most humanity needs a level of discomfort or something to fall out or to reach rock bottom, right? How many people's stories started with, well, I got to a point in my life and I hit rock bottom, and from there I rewrote my life, right? And
me included.
Yeah, I have a lot of those experiences in my life too, that really, the questioning wasn't enough because the programming was so strong in this reality, locking me in to these programs through fear. Fear to challenge things, fear to look different, fear to, stand up against certain things, right? And so within this, once we reach that threshold, and I want to come back to this word because this is going to be something really amazing for us to understand, is that once we are able to start crossing the threshold, what we're starting to do is step in, like through our Pluto, into our own internal inner world, to begin to see what is in our underworld, what is in the underworld, what is behind the shadows, what is in the darkest places, what is the deepest places hidden within ourselves that we maybe haven't pulled out the gems of our wisdom and our knowledge. And so ascension to me is, as it implies, elevating up, so higher perspective. But also within this, I do like to add that within the geometry and the biochemistry of our mechanics, universal mechanics, not just in this dimension, but as it moves through spectrums, that consciousness is also associated with the radiance of light. How much light can you hold? That's why I think ascension is so many times coupled with the idea of enlightenment. And what this is that we're learning how to embody more light, more of our light language, more of our light codes within us, which is very much like the solar rishi or the sun codes, right? And now as we're enlightening ourselves, what we are doing is we are bringing in more wisdom. Light is consciousness. So therefore, light can also be seen as a spectrum of wisdom, sovereignty, maturity, and becoming what I like to call a spiritual adult. So in short, that is what I tend to see as ascension. Ascension is starting to become more and more of a spiritual adult, becoming aware of how you are interacting and living in your life, understanding why you make the choices you make, why you think the thoughts you think, why you do what you do, and then really being able to say, is that truly mine? Do I really choose that choice, or am I doing this because it's an adopted belief system that I took on from my family, from my country, from my religion, or so on and so forth? And then we get to audit all of these belief systems from our higher self, if you will, higher mind, from this elevated or ascended perspective, and begin to ask, is that truly in alignment with my soul's path and what I truly believe on a heart-based level? And then we get to start to go through, and this is where we have many different tools and techniques to begin to clear, to begin to move, begin to empower ourselves. And so when I say Ascension Guide, in a lot of ways, what it is I feel I am creating a bridge that I can be with someone to sense where they are within their consciousness, listen to their heart, listen to their soul as they speak to me. And it's just, I feel blessed. It is one of the gifts I've been able to trust and develop more and more, is that as I listen to someone, their Akashic records will open, and so their guides will be the ones that many times will show what path to begin to weave their consciousness into a comfortable and yet productive way in which for them to begin to potentially embrace ascended thought forms. Because as we do this work, right, a lot of it's pretty out there for people. And if they haven't thought about it yet, you can't just start going like, oh, hey, you're a starseed, you're blah blah blah, right? If someone's not at that place, they're gonna be like, oh, shut the blinds, push you away, like, go away. And in that, we get to meet people where they are and share as is, guided by their higher wisdom. And in that, I consider that being a bridge of consciousness, like that rainbow bridge in a lot of ways. And we're not the ones really doing it. So you and I, as we do this work, we're sharing this information, but it's not even about us. It's really just being a tool for the higher wisdom to find the way in which we can be a gift for others to find this. So that's one way I look at ascension and being an ascension guide.
Yeah, that's so beautifully said. I mean, I absolutely agree with you that we are really just the bridges, or let's say the messengers of their higher self speaking through us, right? And what I found really beautiful is that people are, what I see with you, right? There are many people gravitating to you who already know quite a bit about the other realities. So the quantum realities, the unseen worlds, until you don't see them, right? Once you see them, then it's not unseen anymore, and it starts to become another reality we can tap into. And we are both galactic astrologers, actually, basically on bringing this wisdom of our off-planetary lives parallel, actually, because everything is just in the moment, to enhance awareness also on this planet, that we are actually part of a galactic family, not a part of a galactic family, but a part of a multitude of galactic families. And that these galactic families are waiting for us now, that we are being rehabilitated and reintegrated back to become a fully flagged, let's say, part of galactic history again. I mean, we already are. We are just not the ones who are not aware of it, right? And I find it so incredible that we have this cool tool of galactic astrology, but I would love to hear your take on the value of galactic astrology. What are your experiences with people coming to you to know about their galactic heritage?
Oh, this one's amazing. Thank you for this question, because this has really blown me away. It's like I have worked with so many different modalities. And within this, it's like there is a lot of wisdom that can come through within these, even when it comes to, say, evolutionary astrology or human design, or just looking at your blueprint just from your astrological wheel. It can answer a lot of questions, but I found that when really starting to add the fixed stars, the asteroids, the other celestial bodies within there, and these celestial wisdoms, now we're accessing the rays, the frequencies, the light codes within these star systems. And what I have found is that being able to expand this level of our consciousness to be aware of our larger family tree, so our galactic family, we've actually opened ourselves up to helping this aha. What I've noticed the most is that even doing past life regression, even doing things like QHHT, where people are connecting maybe to say a fear or a phobia. This is why a lot of us start to ask questions in the first place. We'll have a fear, a phobia, a sensation that makes no sense. I'm going to give something really basic: fear of water, but never had a problem with it in this lifetime. Why am I so afraid of going on boats or going on the ocean? And then maybe we go into a past life regression, and there is a past life that comes through, that there's an energy or a memory of maybe some kind of trauma through the water. And a lot of times that will start to alleviate things, right? That's the gift of it. We only really need to witness where something originated in order for it to begin to clear. But a lot of times, some of these traumas that we're holding, they're actually being replayed on the earth plane because they come from galactic wars, galactic experience, off-planetary soul memories within our soul field, or even our oversoul records. And so it's a charge of energy that we'll be able to release and create some sort of relief in this life from a past life memory. But it's still kind of like that question in the heart, that question in the soul of, like, again, I like to use that metaphor of like the itch that you're trying to get to, but it's like, no, that's not quite it, right? And what I found immediately is starting to validate these off-planetary experiences, these connections to our soul families, to our guides, and to specifically a lot of these different traumas through the Lyran Wars, the Orion Wars, the Ursa Majors, so the wars in Dubhe, the wars in Taurus, Pleiades, all the way into the wars of this solar system. People are holding so many memories of the wars, of even the wars on Mars, Maldek, seeing the asteroid belt, the planet be destroyed and creating the asteroid belt here. So as we start to now get to validate these, what I have found for people is that all of a sudden, this huge breath of fresh air. And it's almost like I can't put my finger on it, but it's like when people get their starseed report and have these memories validated that go far beyond, that even start to explain to them potentially why they were born into the family they were born with, why they dealt with some of the challenges they dealt with in this lifetime, why they maybe had to go through certain things, or deal with certain pains, or felt so alone. That one's a big one for so many of us, feeling so alone, so different, like we're just don't fit in this reality. And all of a sudden now it's like, oh, and the reason why I feel like it creates that is it's nothing I'm really saying, but what it's doing is I think these readings are opening up permission for people to have access to their Akashic library, and the truth resonates within their cellular DNA. And that's what's creating that sense of tears, of validation, of feeling heard or seen many times for the first time in their life. And I think what it is that now that we're starting to have more of a remembrance of this larger part of our blueprint, our owner's manual, that we're stepping back into wisdom that we used to use here on the planet. This isn't something new we're doing. What you and I are doing, and what many who are doing, utilizing the fixed stars and the trans-Neptunian planets and the asteroids, is what we're doing is we're remembering in our Akashic records that this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is part of all of the quantum mechanics of this universe, right? Is to understand the cycles, the momentum, the star influences, how the different radiances are affecting us. And so I feel like we're remembering the ancient wisdoms that were utilized before as part of our natural life path. And now that we're having that validation again, it's creating a sense of being seen, primarily because it's getting to the origin of where these feelings are coming from. That's my perception, at least.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautifully said, and it absolutely is in line with what I'm experiencing, what I've experienced for myself, receiving this reading from you concretely, and also what I've experienced with many people coming to me. It is this sense of, as you said, being seen for the first time ever. Then this real sense of being homesick, and we don't even know where this is coming from, right? This deep feeling of being homesick for something we don't even know exists right now, right? And also the feeling of depression, disconnection from the biggest gifts that we have, right? And yes, it is a beautiful gift that we can for ourselves access that, and also then give others this gift. Yeah, so it's really beautiful. That's the funny part. I was joking the other day with someone that before that we were doing like this spirituality in the closet, like closet spirituality, because we didn't want to come out with spirituality. Now we are doing starseed closet star, we are doing we are meeting our galactic families in the closets, because everybody's hiding that they're having these memories, but this is so real, this is so present, and many people have that, and it's just time that we start to talk about it even more and more. And because when we are doing that, then more of the wisdom is coming through, and we will be able to bring more of the galactic history back to Earth, and also liberate ourselves from the patterns that we are repeating over and over and over again, right? As you've said before, from these different wars on the different planetary systems. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. This brings one point too that I feel inspired to share is, yes, there's going to be many different souls that come to the planet who are going to have a little bit more of their Akashic records available to them. So maybe downloading things through dreams, through experiences, through flashes of memories. We'll even kind of see expressions of this if you ever see those videos of children who can recount their past lives and tell you all kinds of details. It's a blending and blurring of basically our soul embedded into a new vehicle or a new form, because our soul truly is a flash drive, a plasma flash drive of the many different experiences, like our library. And as it embeds into these vehicles, it's embedding into the light codes through the spark within us. So right within our DNA, right within our atoms. And as it's embedding this light within us, this is, in essence, our gift to be able to start to access these memories. And what I find for many people is there's almost a sense of feeling frustrated, almost kind of even angry sometimes, of going like, oh, why can't I remember my memories? I feel like it's right there. But it's literally almost like this feeling of having amnesia. Right? Kind of like when somebody's gotten in a car accident or something, and all of a sudden they don't remember who they are, people aren't familiar to them anymore. And a lot of times it creates this level of frustration, because it's, that there's a cut within the stream of energy of your memory codex, giving you access to what you know you should know, right? And then many times, light workers, starseeds, indigos, crystalline beings, however you identify, whomever's listening to this, you know, there's can be a feeling of seeing someone else that's getting all of these memories and having them since childhood. I remember my life in this planet or in this life, or so on and so forth. And then it creates this sense of even more frustration for many, right? And within this, I like to kind of bring forward that, you know, the majority of us have the inkling, the feeling, the impression, and our job is to follow the breadcrumbs. Validate the breadcrumbs. When something kind of comes into your lap going like, I don't know why, I feel really inspired to study this place on the planet, or this word came into my life multiple times, I feel like I need to research it. This is many times how we have embedded upon the earth plane, because the earth is also a larger access node for our memory. She's holding a lot of our stored memories in crystals, in trees, in the land, in the minerals, in the waters, in different locations, grid lines, ley lines. When we connect to these, whether physically with our feet on the ground there, holding something, or even meditating or starting to research and intend to say research some other place in the planet, another location, we are actually starting to open up a new book to research and re-embed memories into ourselves. So for the majority of individuals getting their memories back, it's like flashes, bits and pieces. It's things that might not all make sense as they're coming together, because it's like a 3,000 piece puzzle that you're just starting to get the little puzzles at a time, trying to see where they fit together. And as we start to trust this, this is where, as we share these experiences, now you tell me your experiences, I tell you mine. Now we've just created a larger piece of the puzzle. And I think you kind of brought this up earlier, which is how we as a collective are starting to bring all the puzzle pieces together. And part of how that happens is we start to have the courage to come out of that starseed closet, right?
Yes.
Share what's happening, so that I can go, man, I have this piece, I have this piece, I have this piece. And you go, oh my gosh, that's just like this piece I have that made no sense to me. But now that you say this, this makes more sense, right? And we start to put these pieces together. So the majority of us on the planet are meant to actually work together to bring these memories together. And that's why I think it's so important that we're doing these sessions, and that we're having platforms for people to come and share these things, because this is what's going to create that tipping point of consciousness on the planet for the libraries to open back up. So I just kind of wanted to say that, because one thing I do get a lot is people being like, I don't have a connection to my guides. I don't get information like you do. And it's like, this is something that we learn to develop through levels of trust.
Yes.
And kind of putting ourselves out there, because many times most people are like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Trusting yourself, trusting your own guidance, trusting your own emotions, trusting your own memories. Just, yes, it is a lifelong path, I would say. And I'm so incredibly grateful that you brought up these communities, right? That we are actually supposed to meet with each other and exchange our experiences, and also, first of all, to get the puzzle pieces together, but also to validate our own experiences in these communities. That's why we also, you and me, we sometimes just journey out there together and just collect information out of the quantum field. And when we both get the same piece of information, we instantly know, yes, that's validated. It is something that we've known about for eons, and it's now time to bring it back here into this reality and really just to start living it. Now, my next question would be, this is really incredible, as you said, how information is being stored in the Earth, right? And the Earth is really like a living library of all the cosmic information there is. I read an incredible book by Anton Parks, the Girku Chronicles. Really, thank you very much for recommending that. It opened up so many new avenues for me to research and also download information. And one of the things that I've found really fascinating is, and this is also one of my personal fascination because I'm a medical doctor, geneticist. And so the spiritual genetics, if I can call, or quantum genetics, it is the integration of the soul DNA, let's say so, or let's say the plasmic soul memories with the body quantum DNA, but also the physical DNA. And once we are able to activate the physical DNA with the light codes of remembrance, I think the key here is really remembering things and also bringing in technologies that are able to activate our physical DNA with sound, light, also, these specific sequences of information. Because I know that our DNA, the physical DNA, is being patterned as a language. There's a whole study field of linguistic DNA that is studying how the DNA is holding a whole language. And when we speak the language of our DNA, we are going to be able to activate more and more and more of that. And the fascinating thing is that our DNA, this DNA of this physical body, is actually a combination of 22, at least 22 different star races, right? We are not from here. We are all from up there. So, and it is incredible. And this is one of my fascinations, how to activate back physical DNA through the spiritual DNA. Do you have any take on that? What would you, how could we do that? How do you do that? Because you are actually very, very, very great in pulling back these memories. But yes, it is following these breadcrumbs of information. This is the first step, I would say, but please, yeah, take it from here.
Yeah, no, and this is really amazing because, in a lot of ways, we're walking keys. We're walking codexes of information. And, what we have forgotten, I think, in a really big way is how to trust our inner senses, or our sixth sense and beyond, right? All of the senses that are about feeling, about intuition, awareness, and all of these subtle energies. And I'm going to kind of go lateral a little bit and then come back in with this, because I think it all ties in. The main star races that originally started coming in to teach me a little bit more about this, and I feel like I'm barely scratching some of the surface with it. I'm just kind of going like, oh my gosh, it's incredible. Was quite a few years back, I was doing a journey and I went through the Stargate of the Sun. Mm-hmm. And as I went through the Stargate of the Sun, it's actually one of the most incredible races, the solar race that is within the solar logos of this solar system. But it's also a portal, and it was a portal, like a doorway or Stargate out. And as I went out immediately, it was the first time I had an experience with whom I've come to learn are Ontarians. But when I saw this being, they just had very much a golden glowing, like a white, but a bit of a golden hue to them, mantis being. Mm-hmm. And I remember in that moment, I was still at a level within myself where I was like, who is this? Right. But immediately as I connected with, she showed herself more in a feminine form. But the more comfortable we get, these beings actually will prefer to just show in their natural form, which is light body. Mm-hmm. So no form. And as she showed herself more within this form, she began to show the capability of merging consciousness or merging our intentions in with all aspects of creation.
Mhm.
So the initial thing she did was take me to this planet where it was an incredible, beautiful planet, waterfalls, different sentient races, and just the energy there was beautiful. And immediately the showing was, you want to be water, be the waterfall. And when you're done with that, be the grass. And when you're done with that, be the starlight. You be whatever you want. And it was this place where it was like a training ground, almost, if you will,
Mhm.
or at least I was being assisted to begin to see the potential of our merging with different consciousness, or merging within different experiences in a completely elevated level. And that within this, the next level of kind of starting to show this vibration was starting to show the actual impact that humanity goes through the emotions that we are experiencing. And that every thought and emotion that is moving through our nervous system, so our autonomic system stored within our limbic system, is interfacing and having an interaction with the hormones in our body, which are the messengers. It's the packets of information going back and forth between systems that is telling our different organs and our different parts of our body what to do, right? But these emotions that we're holding, they were showing how they hold energy within our biochemistry of our body. And so the main wisdom started to be with starting to revalidate how important it was what frequencies we're keeping in our mind, what frequencies we're keeping within our thoughts, what frequencies we're having when we are interacting with others, or being triggered by things, or not forgiving ourselves for things in the past and holding guilt, shame. One of the things they said is we are our own greatest detriment through self-blame. The way that many of the programs work on this planet are very kind of, oh gosh, they're just they're really designed for us to come up with the belief that we are the bad ones for our own self, right? Oh, well, it was my fault. If I would have done it better, if I could have done it better, oh, I'm not as good enough, or I'm not as good as other people, or, oh, I'm so embarrassed about what I did in the past. And really, if we really watch our internal self-dialogue, we are our own jail keepers. We are our own people self-limiting ourselves more than anything else, because at some point in time we bought into these beliefs that we're not good enough, we're not lovable, and all of these other things that keep us in these internal cycles, right? Of now, feel it on an energetic level, it's literally dampening our light, or the informational light streams of energy that's moving through our communication centers within our body. And if we can't even clear those out, they are clogging our subtle bodies, which are the biochemistry, and the way that our meridians, our energy centers, like our chakras, our axonal lines, and these energy centers begin to interface with our next layers of body, which are our light bodies. And it's our light bodies that really interface within our soul, that start to give us these reconnection points into our memories and our consciousness, and moving back through these levels of remembrance within ourselves. So as they started to really show this, I had multiple experiences where different of these Ontarians, specifically to a very beautiful white Ontarian being in a very beautiful, almost cobalt blue, she's just so beautiful, came and really started working with the intricacies of frequencies, of our vibrations we hold through our emotions and our body, and the counter frequencies to begin to nullify and delete these frequencies, negative frequencies, I don't really like the word negative as far as frequencies. It's just a vibration. But we find matching polarized frequencies that then neutralize out, cancel out each other, and therefore open up the channels of communication again. And so within this, as we start to get to sense our body, why are these bodies so special? Well, they are truly these biocomputers. This incredible vehicle that has the capability to hold starfire in it. And starfire is literally our capacity of how much of our angelic code or how much of our oversoul starlight or frequency or solar energy can we hold in this body. And within this, we can understand that the more starfire we can hold, the more we're going to be able to elevate frequencies through our body. So these currents of energy, such as Kundalini, we're many of us are very familiar with the term Kundalini, but Kundalini is the awakening of our starfire within us, and it feels like a fire many times for people as it begins to awaken. It's like electricity moving through the body. What we want to realize is that this isn't some esoteric or etheric or just theoretical thing we're talking about. These are actual frequencies of radiance that move through our atoms and our molecules that increase the spin of light in our cells, that actually increases the heat in our body that burns out karma and debt, and begins to, through this fire, move us into what we would start to call activating our silica-based body and then our crystalline-based body. So we're literally transmuting through like a natural process. And I don't know that you know this so much better than me, but there's like a term like when you can like through alchemy change one metal or one chemical or something in chemistry, and through heat and compression literally created a whole other element.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's just alchemy. I think the general term would be alchemy. I don't know if there's another one, but yeah.
Now, if we're holding too much density in our body, and you're going to see this through the example of, say, many of like the yogis or different meditating beings, say within India and Tibet, who have attempted to do rainbow body. Rainbow body is another term for this, of activating your starfire within your body. But if you are holding density, so let's talk about density. Density is fear, uncertainty, questioning, doubting of self, hatred, anger, worry. You know, take that the frequency of consciousness list, and you can imagine that any of the lower vibrations that start to create an inverted spin or the death cycle are going to create like stagnancy. The inability for our cellular tissues to spin the light in the correct way in order to accelerate ourselves like Merkaba, in order to move through these stargates, or in order to match starfire frequencies so that we don't burn up through the stargate. And you can see, like those that have done rainbow body, if you ever look up a bunch of this online, you can see there are many that the goal is to actually transform the entire body. You know, and Anna, the grandmother of Yeshua, was said to have done this, right? To go into light body in order to go like, okay, instead of going through the death process, we could potentially learn how to activate our rainbow body and go move through the stargate, taking all of our consciousness with us as we leave. But those bodies that still held some density within them. Now, I'm also going to say density is also going to come from anything inorganic. So a lot of the chemicals and the things that are polluting us in this lifetime are also creating inhibitors for our body to be able to spin it. I do feel like, you know, if we can get accelerated enough, we can. But that any of these bodies through rainbow process that still had any density, when they transformed, did the transmutation, there would be a little pile of ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And the pile of ashes was said to be whatever was in the body that they weren't able
To transmute, right?
to transmute. And so that in essence is literally what we're learning how to do. And we as different nodes, all of us like acupuncture points around the planet, are also assisting our planetary body in this process because she's going through it too, because we're part of her. And so a lot of times as we're connecting to this energy on the land, what we're many times doing is we're unlocking pockets of trauma, pockets of places that are purging and detoxing and clearing off of the planet. And we're transmuting it through our body, burning it out through our body. You know, kind of even the concept of our body being this karma processing vehicle that can burn out these things. And that now as we can potentially imagine that the more and more we align ourselves to Christ consciousness, the more and more we align ourselves to law of one, or to elevating ourselves within our higher mind, right? Now we're starting to disconnect from all the lower vibrations more and more, canceling them and deleting them out of our programming so that they purge out of our physical body, so that we start to be able to move more energy of currency through our body. And this is, you know, I want to say for a lot of people, this isn't something that just happens. You know, you can imagine anybody, say, in any profession that is at a master's level on this earth plane. They're not there because they just decided that's what they wanted to do. Take people in say, you know, professional ice skaters or ballet, right? They aren't on the ice in front of all these people doing these amazing things because they just woke up and did it. Practice, 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 study, study, study. This is what we have lost. And I think that we're coming back to is that, you know, I want to give that level of spiritual maturity back to people where it's like, yeah, we want our memories back, but this stuff isn't just going to be handed to us. What are you willing to do? How dedicated are you to this path? What are you willing to step back into to be that radiance again in this life? Because being that radiance doesn't mean we just go back to going like, oh, okay, well, now I know all of that. Do you want to go golfing this weekend?
Exactly.
It's when you start to connect to our star families and these higher conscious, extra dimensional and off planetary races, they don't live life like we do here. It's a whole other culture. It's a whole other mind frame. And the more we are sitting here saying we want to bring that to Earth, the whole idea of new Earth or reinstating Earth back to her divine blueprint, we're also having to realize that what we're calling in is us actually saying, I'm willing to give up a lot of things that I thought were really comfortable because now I'm realizing what it's doing to the planet.
Yay. Oh my gosh, you know what? I'm just mind blown right now. This was incredible, really. There's so many pearls and nuggets in there that we could have another conversation, or maybe 2 or 3 or 4. What I would love to just echo is that yes, absolutely, increasing the vibratory rate of our atoms is the key to ascension. And to get this key working, or let's say unlocking the ascension process, we really, really need to take care about what we are thinking about and what we are feeling and what we are carrying in this body. Is our body all the day frustrated and angry and just, you know, jealous and comparing ourselves to others? Or is there really love and joy and playfulness in this body? What are we thinking about? And all of that is directly, I think we are not enough aware of that this is directly affecting our genetics. absolutely direct effect. There's no way around it, right? And as you so beautifully said, if we want to reinstate the new earth, or the, let's say, the elevated conscious societies on earth, we will need to do the work first. And yes, it is also, as you so beautifully said, it is a mastery level. As we can see still in these Tibetan monks who are now also right now in this century, in this decade, there was one, I think a few years ago, who went through not the death process, but to the transition process into the rainbow body. So there are still many people doing it this day, really ascending through the solar logos back home, or let's say back to the next step. So this is all attainable. There are people doing that. But for us right now, right here, living in this society, we will actually need to change quite a bit of our way of living, specifically our way of thinking and emoting, like really feeling what we are feeling on a day-to-day basis. Becca, I'm so incredibly grateful and honored to have you here on this chat, and I hope it's not going to be the last one, because I think we barely scratched the surface. I hope I can welcome you back to some more wisdom exchange. And I would also love to, if you can tell us where people can find you, yeah, just connect with you. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be so grateful. And I also want to say, like, I just got so excited when you're talking about how emotions really affect the genetics. And so I would love to, definitely do a whole other conversation on that and how important it is. Why many of us are here is that we're changing it from the inside out. And it's like all these star races, they might have all of these other genetics, but in truth, if we're still holding the old consciousness, they can't embed new genetics in here with the old consciousness, because we'll just revert it back, right?
Yeah.
So, it's another topic. Oh my gosh.
Yes, definitely. Another chat. Definitely.
Oh, I'm so grateful. If people want to connect with me, my website's the best way to get a hold of me. It's withbecca.com. I do have links on there to upcoming workshops, events. I do have a soul circle that it's a way that we stay connected. So for those that are guided, it's just a way for us to connect. I host 2 different circles a week so that it works for all time zones around the world, that we can come together, share these conversations, continue to stay within a harmonious environment where we feel the connection with family again, because many of us are all in our own places in the world. So when we come together like this with this conversation, we can start to feel that connection. But then sometimes we got to go to work, or we work with family, or we go and we interact with many others who are not having maybe these same types of conversations or thoughts. So I do find it's really important. The soul circle is one option, but there are many other different groups and places. So I really encourage people, find your tribe, find where you really resonate, and stay connected with others. That's one just last thing I would leave people with, because I just feel it's so important for us to really be coming together and learning how to create that sense of being able to open up with others again.
Yeah, that's so important. And I definitely recommend you, because you're such an incredible activator, I would say, on all the levels related to existence. May I have just one last question? And my last question is, what is the single most important thing you would love to everybody on this planet Earth to know? What is it that everybody needs to know in this moment in time for themselves to be empowered?
Oh, I'm actually going to take it back to human design on this and the gene keys. This is something that's been popping up quite a bit. And for those that have the gene key 25 within your chart, it's a Piscean energy. It's actually kind of on the cusp of Piscean and Aries energy. And this is a gate of innocence. But what this gate really implies for us is that when we hold and harness this energy, it says that we come to a place where we have permission, and it's beyond permission, but where we step into a place of truly loving ourselves, unabashedly, purely, in a whole state of being, basically in a state of even the Christos or crystalline consciousness of unconditional, non-judgmental love, and knowing our own love and self-worth so much. What gate 25 asks is that we step into that love and then radiate that love as an example to others, and how they can learn to love themselves, right? And so this is in a whole other spectrum that many empaths, light workers, starseeds have a vibration in there of coming with this energy of wanting to heal, wanting to help, giving their energy, wanting to be helpful in this world to others, right? And to give love. Let me show you that I love you. Let me show you that you're lovable. And that if we can come to a place that we realize that our true gift could be to actually be the living example of what it is to be an emanation of love and love of oneself, that we start to be that example for others, and therefore the need of loving others dissipates. And what it is now we be the example of others, so that we encourage others into that place of self-love within themselves. And I know there's kind of a whole lot to it, but what I would say is that I have this dream that if humanity could, even for 3 minutes, all simultaneously hold the vibration of the gift or the siddhi of gate 25 within our chart. So we all for one moment seek nothing outside of ourselves, and all come into a place of acknowledging our lovability and our worth, and to be an emanation of pure love for 3 minutes. Literally, I don't even think it would take that long.
No.
All parasitic energy would completely leave this planet.
We will transition immediately. Wow. Into the beautiful earth that we all want. Oh my God, Rebecca. I already invite you to the next chat. So
Yes,
it's definitely not the end. So please stay tuned. We definitely we will chat again, uncover some more deep wisdom and knowledge. And yes, thank you, Becca, from my deep, deep, deep heart.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you so much. So much love.
So much love to you back.